The bus hissed as its doors opened, and Elisa stepped down onto the unfamiliar pavement. For her, every street, every sound, every face carried the thrill of discovery. She was 21 years old, standing at the threshold of a journey she hoped would bring renewal. Behind her lay Vancouver, the city of her childhood. Ahead lay the vastness of California, the promise of freedom, and perhaps the answers she had long searched for. But Elisa's story did not begin here, on the road. It began in 1991, in Vancouver, Canada, where she was born to parents who had emigrated from Hong Kong. She grew up balancing two cultures, speaking both English and Cantonese, navigating the expectations of her family and the opportunities of her new homeland. Those who knew her spoke of a bright, creative, and deeply thoughtful young woman. Yet, like many dreamers, Elisa carried invisible battles within. Diagnosed as a teenager with bipolar disorder and depression, she faced struggles that shaped her daily life. On her personal blog, she wrote openly about these challenges, her medications, her moods, and her determination to find hope. Writing was her lifeline, a way to pour out her thoughts and connect with strangers who might understand. By the time she reached the University of British Columbia, Elisa was searching not only for knowledge, but also for herself. In early 2013, she made a decision to pause her studies and travel. California, with its endless skies and restless energy, seemed to call to her. She hoped the journey would be more than sightseeing. She wanted clarity, renewal, and perhaps a sense of belonging in a world that often felt overwhelming. Elisa's journey through California began with the steady hum of the bus rolling down the highway. Every stop brought a new set of sights and sounds, streets lined with palm trees, the scent of salt from distant beaches, the chatter of strangers she would never meet again. She carried little more than a backpack in her journal, sketching out thoughts, impressions, and fleeting emotions with the precision of someone both curious and cautious. By late January 2013, she had arrived in Los Angeles, a city of contrasts where glimmering skyscrapers cast shadows over neglected streets. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, a towering building with a storied past. Though the hotel advertised comfort and convenience, its history whispered of dark corners and past tragedies. Elisa, however, saw it as a temporary home, a place from which she could explore the city and continue her personal journey. During her days in Los Angeles, she wandered through bookstores, small cafes, and tourist attractions, observing life with attentive eyes. On her blog and social media accounts, she shared snapshots of her travels, images of street art, cityscapes, and the curious details that captured her imagination. Though she was excited to be exploring a new world, there were moments when her writing betrayed underlying anxiety and restlessness, subtle hints of the battles she carried silently within. The rhythm of the city, the unfamiliarity, and the freedom of being alone seemed to awaken something in her, a mix of exhilaration and fragility. Every interaction, every step, every glance was filtered through both curiosity and caution. For Elisa, the journey was not just about geography. It was an exploration of herself, of her limits, and of the delicate balance between wonder and vulnerability. The Cecil Hotel rose above downtown Los Angeles like a silent, watchful giant. Built in the 1920s, it had once been a symbol of luxury and ambition, its polished lobbies and ornate ceilings speaking of a glamorous past. Yet over the decades, the hotel's shine had dimmed. Stories of crime, despair, and tragedy seemed woven into its walls, whispered in the halls and recounted by longtime staff. By the time Elisa arrived in January 2013, the hotel bore both the weight of history and the bustling energy of modern visitors. Its rooms were modest, and its corridors could feel both comforting and unsettling, depending on who walked them. For many, the Cecil was a place to sleep between adventures. For others, it had gained a reputation as a haven for the lost and the lonely. Despite its shadowed past, Elisa approached the hotel with curiosity and pragmatism. She was there for a temporary stay, a base from which to explore the city, unaware that the very building she chose would later become inseparable from the story of her final days. In its silent corners and empty stairwells, history waited quietly, a reminder that places can carry echoes long after their prime. Mornings in Los Angeles were a mixture of sunlight and noise. Elisa wandered the streets with wide eyes, taking in the unfamiliar sights, street murals stretching across brick walls, the distant hum of traffic, and the chatter of people who seemed absorbed in their own worlds. Every small discovery, from a quiet cafe to an unusual bookstore, became part of her journey. She documented these moments in her journal and blog, capturing not just what she saw, but how it made her feel. Some days were full of excitement, others tinged with anxiety. Hotel staff recalled seeing her smile and speak with a spark of curiosity, yet they also noted moments when she seemed distracted or withdrawn. Social media posts revealed her keen observations and playful humor, but beneath them, subtle hints of restlessness occasionally appeared. The city was alive, vibrant, and overwhelming all at once, mirroring the contradictions in Elisa's own mind. She explored both well-known attractions and hidden corners, tracing the city in search of inspiration and understanding. For Elisa, Los Angeles was more than a destination. It was a mirror reflecting both the possibilities and the uncertainties of youth. Every step was a negotiation between freedom and caution, between wonder and an underlying fragility that few could see. January 31, 2013, began like any other day in the city, yet for Elisa, it would mark the beginning of a mystery that would captivate the world. That morning, she stepped out of the Cecil Hotel, her backpack slung over one shoulder, and walked into streets brimming with both sunlight and shadows. She moved with a mixture of curiosity and caution, taking in every detail, as though the city itself held secrets meant only for her to discover. By evening, Elisa had not returned. Concern grew among hotel staff and her family in Vancouver, who had grown accustomed to daily messages and updates. Calls went unanswered. Room checks were made. Flyers were printed. The realization that she was missing spread quickly, turning private worry into public attention. In the corridors of the Cecil Hotel and across social media, questions began to echo. Where had she gone, and what had happened to her? Elisa's disappearance was sudden, almost imperceptible, yet it sent ripples through both the city and the world. Friends, family, and strangers alike were drawn into the uncertainty, the quiet dread of the unknown, and the urgent desire to find answers. The stage was set for a search that would span days, uncover strange clues, and ultimately leave more questions than answers. As February began, the disappearance of Elisa Lam drew the attention of the Los Angeles Police Department and the public alike. Detectives moved through the corridors of the Cecil Hotel, questioning staff and guests, retracing steps, and piecing together timelines from the fragments of her last known day. Every interaction, every observation became a potential clue. Then, authorities released the hotel's security camera footage from the elevator on January 31st. The video was brief, but chilling. Elisa pressed multiple buttons, stepped in and out of the elevator, and gestured in ways that were at once anxious and elusive. Her movements were small, yet deliberate, almost as if she were communicating with someone or something that no one else could see. The footage spread quickly online, drawing intense scrutiny and speculation. Experts and amateurs alike debated what her behavior meant, while the public's fascination grew. The search continued, blending police procedure with the attention of a captivated audience. Interviews, room checks, and tips flooded in. The city, already buzzing with life and chaos, became a stage for a real-life mystery where every detail, no matter how small, was magnified. Elisa's absence was felt not only by those who knew her but by a growing world of observers, each trying to piece together the puzzle of her final hours. On February 19, 2013, the routine hum of the Cecil Hotel was pierced by an unusual complaint. Guests reported low water pressure and a strange taste. Maintenance staff climbed to the rooftop, expecting a minor plumbing issue. Instead, they encountered a scene that would shock the world. Elisa Lam's body was found inside one of the hotel's water tanks, floating silently amidst the cold, dark water. Her clothes drifted nearby, the surface of the tank reflecting the dim winter light. The rooftop, normally locked and largely inaccessible, raised immediate questions. How had she reached this isolated space? The discovery was both tragic and bewildering, marking the grim climax of a search that had gripped both family and strangers alike. Authorities cordoned off the area, and word of the discovery spread quickly. The city and the online world reacted with disbelief and sorrow. How a young woman, bright and curious, had ended up in such a place remained a question that fueled speculation, media coverage, and widespread fascination. The reality of her death contrasted sharply with the vivid, lively persona she had displayed in life, captured in blog posts and photographs. The coroner's report, released in the weeks following the discovery, confirmed that Elisa Lam's death was accidental. She had drowned in the water tank, and no evidence of foul play was found. Toxicology tests indicated traces of her prescribed medications, but nothing that would suggest an overdose. The findings were clinical, precise, and devoid of speculation, but they did little to ease the sorrow or the questions surrounding the circumstances. Medical experts noted that her bipolar disorder and depression might have contributed to her actions, though they could not provide definitive answers. The mechanics of her death, the way she accessed the roof and climbed into the tank, remained partially mysterious, raising further debate and speculation. For authorities, the facts were clear, but for the public, the story became a haunting puzzle, a blend of documented reality and the eerie unknown. Despite the official conclusions, the enigma of Elisa Lam persisted. Her disappearance and death were no longer just personal tragedies, they had become a symbol of both vulnerability and fascination, capturing attention far beyond her immediate circle of family and friends. Even after the official report, the story of Elisa Lam continued to ripple through the public consciousness. The elevator video, in particular, fueled endless speculation. Was she signaling to someone unseen? Was her behavior a symptom of her mental health struggles, or something stranger? Online forums and social media exploded with theories, blending facts, conjecture, and imagination. Some suggested foul play, pointing to the hotel's dark past and the mysterious nature of her death. Others speculated about paranormal influences, referencing the eerie atmosphere of the Cecil Hotel and the inexplicable details captured on video. Conspiracy theories flourished, with videos, articles, and documentaries dissecting every moment of her final days. While sensational, These discussions often blurred the line between reality and myth. For many, the fascination was not just about tragedy, but about the unknowable. Elisa's story became a lens through which people examined fear, curiosity, and mortality. It was a case where the ordinary and the extraordinary collided, where a young woman's disappearance and death sparked questions that official findings could not fully satisfy. The story of Elisa Lam did not end with the official reports or the closure of the investigation. It became a symbol of fascination, mystery, and the fragile boundaries between life and death. People around the world revisited the elevator video, the blog posts, and the accounts of her travels, seeking to understand her final days. The Cecil Hotel, already infamous, was forever linked to her story, its history intertwined with the tragedy that unfolded within its walls. Elisa's case also sparked broader conversations about mental health, the vulnerabilities of young travelers, and the dangers of isolation. Her life, her writings, and the circumstances of her death prompted reflection, compassion, and curiosity in equal measure. The fascination with her story remains a reminder that behind every statistic, every headline, and every viral video, there is a human being with hopes, fears, and dreams. If you found this story compelling, leave a comment and share your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more fascinating real-life stories like this one.